Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, Royal Caribbean finally pulled the plug and they are suspending cruises to their private island. We also have another port saying, you know what, cruise ships need to pay some more money, and they're voting on that this week. And some more issues are popping up with the Sun Princess as she has to cancel a port because of tendering difficulties. So with the ongoing violence that I reported on last week in Haiti, with the prison break and the gangs and the government going head-to-head right now, it is becoming a very nasty situation, and it seems to be escalating, so much so that Royal Caribbean has now decided to suspend all of their cruises to Labedee, the private island sanctuary in Haiti. It's not really an island, we call it a private island because it's a fenced-off, secured area in the country that's kind of like their own private little spot in Haiti. Well, they've decided, after monitoring all the things that are going on and the escalation of the violence, that they're suspending all cruises to Labedee until at least March 22nd, and maybe further depending on the developments that happen there in the meantime. So that will affect some cruise lines going to different locations. Up to 6 cruise ships could be affected. They will substitute other ports, so you won't be stuck with missing out on some of your ports of call. Depending on your ship, you may stop in Nassau, you may stop in Jamaica. It will all depend on the itinerary that you're taking and what ship you're on. But yeah, it's a situation they've been monitoring, and they don't want to take any chances that somebody decides, you know what, those cruise ships down there, they might make big headlines, and that would be horrible, horrible news for anybody who happened to be in the area at that time. So I'm kind of glad Royal Caribbean is doing this now. Not good for the area that needs the money, that needs the tourism for having this stuff happening. But unfortunately, they have this situation going on right now that needs to be resolved. Next, we have a port just off the coast of Britain. And yeah, it's the Isle of Man. The Isle of Man, a popular little destination in that area, is saying that they're voting this week on raising the cruise dues for docking in the port, and they're thinking on raising it 55% in one shot. And they're saying that this is because of the rising costs to maintain the port facilities, etc. So again, another huge jump in a charge to a cruise line all at one time. We've seen this happen in Australia. We've seen this happen in many locations now, where suddenly they've decided, you know what? We need to get money, and we need a lot of it right now. And so, yeah, not a 4%, a 10% increase, 55% all at once. Okay, I guess that makes sense. I hope they haven't had to raise port fees in the Isle of Man for about 10 years to make this 55% make sense, I hope. Anyway, it just seems that everyone's trying to reach out to see where they can grab more money, and cruise lines are no exception as far as being taxed are concerned. We see new fees going up. We see new charges. We now see VAT taxes here in Spain. You don't even have to land in Spain. You just have to be in the Spanish waters now, and the cruise lines are forced to tax you 10%. I'm seeing that here on this cruise as well. Speaking of being on this cruise, we were notified when we got on this ship, the passengers, that there was a change in destinations. We will no longer be going to Santorini. Instead, we will be going to Crete. And the reason for that is Santorini is a tender port. And they are reporting that they are still finalizing and changing and preparing their tendering services here on the ship. and it's not quite ready to start ferrying passengers to and from locations. That's a little bit scary because tenders are also used as lifeboats in situations, but I'm sure that's a completely different situation than, you know, loading passengers on and off in a controlled environment, picking people up. It could be as simple as they need more training for their crew to pull up alongside, keep the boat alongside while the waves are moving and the boats are rocking back and forth without having that big gap open up between them and have, you know, the ramp fall down and people fall into the water. That takes a little bit of a talent as well, right? It's not as simple as it sounds. So I'm quite sure that the safety part of it has gone, because the Coast Guard would never have allowed them to sail if they could not drop their boats into the water. They would never even been allowed off the dock. So I said that in jest. Just in case you were wondering, I'm not worried about if something happened out here we couldn't get in a lifeboat. But the other part of bringing people on and off the ship is a completely different situation than running a life drill and just, you know, emergency drop into the water. Completely different than controlling, pulling alongside, pulling back out to water, bringing in another one, etc., in a controlled fashion. So yeah, another little disappointment that's going on the ship. Many people, you know, Santorini is that dream port for a lot of people, with the white houses, with the blue roofs and overlooking the ocean, with the, you know, it's just a luxury destination. I loved going to Santorini myself. Really enjoyed it the last time I was there, and a little disappointed we won't be going this time, but hey, I'll take Crete just as much. I'm still enjoying the ship, and I understand that their situation, because literally they got the ship and 8 days later they were sailing it to their first sailing. So they haven't had a lot of practice with the tendering operations, and I'd rather make sure that that is running safe, so when they do start bringing passengers on and off, everybody gets off and on the tenders safely and nothing happens because they rushed the situation. So yeah, disappointing, understandable. Princess has given a $50 onboard credit to passengers on board to compensate for that. People seem to be taking it lighthearted. They even made jokes about it at the Yes No game show when the host was asking them what their favorite port of call will be on this. The person said, well, it was Santorini, and they got rousing standing applause from those in attendance, kind of as a little jab. But it was kind of funny, and everyone had a pretty good laugh at it. So we're all taking it pretty lightheartedly. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.